Hello, this is Hot Indonesia, and welcome to all of you watching us in Adelaide. I'm Dalton Taranaka in Jakarta, and here is this week's HI Hotlist. Buy local. Should we really hate foreign products, as the president said? Tracking tourism, are we on the right course to reopening to visitors? We get a progress report from Tourism Minister Sandiaga Uno. And Eat Meter. Italian is the world's most popular cuisine. Why don't more people like what we cook up? Here are my co-hosts, Sandrina Malakiano, Deputy CEO of Polmark Indonesia, from her home in South Tangerang. And we are happy to announce that joining us this week as the regular third member of our Hot Indonesia team, Millie Lukito, CEO of the Mobiliari Group, involved in the publishing of magazines such as Indonesia Tatler and Forbes Indonesia. Welcome, Millie. Let's get going. Here's hot topic number 1, buy local. That was the essential message from the president in a recent speech in support of domestic business. But he added words at the end that translated into hate foreign products, and that raised concerns of protectionist policy and disregard for international commerce. Joko Widodo repeated this to the young entrepreneurs group HIPME, saying he has a right to say what he said. Sandrina, the point seems to have gotten lost, I think, in playing to local audiences, which makes him more popular.
Dalton, I remember that in your final words last week, you said that you believe words matter. So the problem here, in my opinion, is indeed the choice of words used by the president. That word benci or hate in Indonesian or the Indonesian language, Bahasa Indonesia, has a more active, offensive, and aggressive connotation compared to, for example, the word dislike. That choice of word was then criticized by some audiences, people from our own country. Some cynically arraigning the president by saying, if it's true we should hate foreign products, then prove it by changing the presidential car, as it is not a local product. Efforts to defend and support national products cannot be done only by making speeches or statements. Indonesia must have a firm economic policy that facilitates the rise of national products.
Yeah, that's a larger issue. And I think hate was too strong a word, maybe when you translate it into English. Now, as of January, speaking of trade, Indonesia had a trade surplus of nearly $2 billion as exports were strong. But Millie, there are certain imported products that can't be replicated here, such as cars and luxury goods.
But Dalton, I think the president, when he makes that statement, benci or hate, the meaning is actually he wants to put passion around the meaning of the word love Indonesian product. So it's not so much to sidetrail all of us from imported foreign goods, but actually to love or to make Indonesian product as valuable in the eyes of Indonesians as also the foreign products, if not more. So there is passion around it.
Yeah, and that should have been emphasized more. Love or support or favor local products over imports. But you know, what the president said happens in other countries, of course. Trump, during his term, said, buy America, for example. But unless it's government policy, Sandrina, consumers can buy whatever they want.
Totally correct. Consumers have all the rights to purchase whatever they want or need. No leader nor government, no matter how strong they might be, can effectively intervene consumers' behavior in the market, especially now. Trade practices have become so advanced and digitalized, and consumers have become more independent. So the key to face these challenges, Dalton, is our readiness to provide good quality local or national products. As Millie said, issues like properly manage the product's marketing process, make the correct pricing and placing strategies, gain market access, then our local or national products will be well accepted. About special policies, Indonesia has had this since a long time ago. The mencintai produk dalam negeri or love national and local products slogan has been used by former Minister of National Development Planning or Bappenas, Ginanjar Kartasasmita, in the early 1990s under the order of President Suharto. But then again, speeches and slogans alone would never be enough.
Yeah, you're right. Millie, let me ask you this. then, on that vein, what are some examples of local products that are equal or better than imports? And let me start. Coffee, of course.
You know, kopi luwak, right? Kopi luwak is basically now the most expensive product coffees in the world, and
Right. The coffee bean that goes to the digestive system of the civet animal. Okay.
yes, but that belongs to Indonesia, kopi luwak. And then, do you know in Nigeria, for example, Indomie has become a staple food. It's insanely popular, Indomie. And then we have our jamu, the herb tolak angin, for example. You can find it now in Singapore, in Hong Kong, even in China. So those are Indonesian products that have made it global.
Yeah, and not just food products, but clothing. I mean, our batik is world class, I'd say, and no one could duplicate it, really.
Yes, batiks, we just talked about some batik brands, and also sneakers. You know, Indonesian made sneakers now have made it to Canada, to America.
You mean Indonesian brands, not just sourcing of sneakers for Nike or Reebok or anybody else?
No, Indonesian brand and Indonesian made.
I remember Sandy Uno, our former co-host, who we're going to talk to shortly, always promoted local sneakers. But you're right, yeah?
Yes, and sneakers have made it big actually in Canada and also in United States of America. Those are Indonesian-made sneakers.
Yeah, and since we're sourcing for a lot of the global brands, why not make our own? They can just switch the assembly line, add some different colors and decorations, and we have our own brand. Yeah, okay, very good point. Hot Indo will continue shortly with Tracking Tourism. We get the progress made in reviving the visitor industry straight from the chief himself next.
I'm Trần Minh Ngân, a visitor net Việt in Hanoi.
I'm Thairat Thomya of Thailand's Thairat TV in Bangkok.
I'm Monica Sambodet from the National Television of Cambodia in Phnom Penh.
I'm Raymond Go of Malaysia's TV3 in Kuala Lumpur.
I'm Glenda Chong of Singapore's Channel News Asia.
I'm Raisa Chantami of the Indonesia channel at the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta.
This is your weekly look into the dynamic Southeast Asia region.
ASEAN Today on the Indonesia channel.
Welcome to Foodiepedia. Every week in this program, I will introduce you to one of Indonesia's fabulous food items. Yummy. Beautiful. Now, I'm ready to cook. Let's go to the kitchen. It's done. Let's meet to eat.
Foodiepedia on the Indonesia channel.
I'm Caitlin Turner, and welcome to Yoga Bliss. Dropping your hands to the mat, just step it back and out and up to the sky. Up through your fingertips. Reach your right hand back behind your head. Let your hands separate forward and then start.
Yoga Bliss, only on the Indonesia channel.
You're watching Hot Indonesia with Sandrina, Millie, and me. Here's hot topic number 2, tracking tourism. Like just about everywhere else, the visitor industry here is one of the hardest hit because of its dependency on international arrivals. Business is down 90% in some cases, and many can't hang on much longer. The man appointed to help reopen the door has been on the job for less than 3 months. Sandiaga Uno is the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, formerly in one of the boxes on your screen there. Sandy, welcome back. You're in Bogor, you're on the road, you're a busy guy. In less than 3 months, you've traveled more than most cabinet ministers in a year, I think, meeting your stakeholders. What is your initial takeaway from what you've seen so far?
Thank you, Dalton. It's always good to be back. And I've seen firsthand the sadness in our people who have no alternatives without tourism and creative economy. We must prioritize to reopen key tourist markets safely. I would underline safely because the health and COVID-19 protocols would be non-negotiable. Demanding travelers and community residents to follow a very strict public health protocol. Reopening Bali, even for people outside Bali, would be key stepping stone, and I think it is the quickest win that everybody's waiting for. They are waiting for hope. They're waiting for the light at the end of the tunnel. And after a year, they are really needs to be inspired. And I think nationwide, even in our recent discussions with several groups, they are looking at Bali. So even like people in Bintan, people in Likupang, North Sulawesi, people in Toba Lake, they're looking at when Bali can reopen. And actually the recovery of the tourism and the creative economy, I think everybody's looking at how we reopen Bali. And I think, keep our fingers crossed with the numbers of cases coming down due to measures of basically a micro-scale social restrictions. We would see this coming on a pilot project basis or trial basis, hopefully not too long, sooner rather than later.
Mr. Minister, you've been a busy guy, as I mentioned. You've already secured several international events for this year. You're pushing Dandut as a UNESCO heritage item, as we discussed last week. But of course, as you mentioned, the biggest concern is international arrivals. Just where are we right now, and do you have a timetable, a possible timetable, when the gates will open again?
Obviously, the COVID-19 dictates our timetable, but we are preparing for next week in Bali, coordinating a high-level meeting whereby the foreign ministers, health minister, as well as the chair of the COVID-19 task force, Minister of Transport, would meet and decide the protocols on reopening, including the travel corridor arrangements. If that meetings take place and the governor of Bali also would endorse, I would take this proposal to basically the president for his considerations. And I think the president will call on several experts, and based on the data, because the presidents now operate with data sets in front of him. Once he decides that it's time, and hopefully we could have a timetable for a pilot project, for a trial, and maybe with several countries that's ready to send tourists to Indonesia, like China, like Malaysia, and including Singapore. We need to wait a little bit for Australia, and even some chartered flights coming in from Poland and Uzbekistan are also on the table.
Okay, it sounds like we're getting closer rather than further away from reopening, from what you say, Sandy. Now, Millie, a question for the minister?
Yes, thank you, Minister. That is very good news indeed for Indonesian and for Balinese especially. But how do we trace those who come in and pass our borders, how do we have the health protocol basically and tracing initiatives? Please do share.
First of all, congratulations, Millie. I think Hot Indonesia is so lucky to have you. I've been a great admirer of the works of you, Millie, and my mom has been a good friend of your late mother. It's good for you to agree to join Hot Indonesia team. We are going into a very strict protocol whereby either people who have been vaccinated or a PCR test, negative PCR test, they would then travel to Indonesia, and upon arrival, they would need another PCR test, and then they would be put on a 5 days quarantine in secured locations in Nusa Dua or Ubud. They would need to be to decide. And before that, 120,000 people in Ubud and Nusa Dua would then have to be all vaccinated. So we are declaring 2 green zones, Nusa Dua and Ubud, and then to be followed by maybe Bintan and several other areas. And then once they clear the 5 days quarantine, then they are free to roam and move about the green zone. And then we would require certain kinds of, tour guides to ensure that their movements are within the green zones. And I think we are getting increased amount of assurance in terms of testing and tracing and treatment. The bed occupancy rate in Bali is now down to about 60%. So we have adequate healthcare facilities, and should they need to be treated, they would be treated within that zone. Nusa Dua has its own hospital as well as Ubud.
Yeah, it sounds pretty strict, which we need, similar to Japan and other countries that require the things you mentioned. Sandrina, question for our former colleague?
So good to have you back on the show, Mas Menteri, our amazing, hardworking minister. You know, Sandy, I was so happy when I read this news that the Indonesian Chief of Police finally allowed musical, cultural, sports, and events such as conferences or exhibitions to be held. After your virtual meeting with General Listio Sigit Prabowo, he gave permission to hold events that gathered large crowds, of course, by always implementing strict health protocols, and it depends on the COVID-19 zoning at the location of the event. Now, we want the events to start again. We need events to take place again real soon. What I'd like to know is, how can we prevent the emergence of new clusters after such events are held? As I have no idea how we can conduct screening for the audience to ensure that they are COVID-free.
We need to ensure that local governments is helping us reopen the events. Progress is not something that can wait now, because for 1 year already, Sandrina, I think people have been really having tough times. So the border is still closed, but it doesn't mean that we wait for the opening of the border to create a momentum. We need to prepare destinations, Bali, Bogor, and other tourism village. I'm in a rural tourism area, and also 5 super priority destinations. We've done Toba with you. We're waiting to invite Hot Indonesia to visit maybe Mandalika and Bajo. And I'm also in close discussions with foreign ambassadors, the foreign ministers, and all strategic stakeholders to deliver some kind of a bubble initiatives, not only within the travel, but also on the events. I'm willing to say here in the show that with all these activities, we'll be in a much more comfortable situations, whereby General Sigit said in the video conference that you may start, gentlemen, start your engine, but be very, very cautious, because we are not going to hesitate to put back the stricter rule if new cluster reemerge.
Sandy, we know you got to run. One last point. If our show is international. If you could speak directly to viewers overseas, to business people, to tourists who haven't been able to come there, what would you say to them?
Well, yes, I know this pandemic holds us from traveling. I assure you that Indonesia, we're doing our best to flatten the curve here, to make a safe and secure travel for you. Please plan your travel to Indonesia. We're ramping up the inoculations of vaccines. Bali is getting ready. It's beautiful mountains, beaches right here are waiting. We are now focusing on more quality and sustainable. We promise you that our preparations will make Bali and other tourist destinations in Indonesia will be a memorable holiday for you guys. And yes, we're open for business.
All right, Sandiaga Uno, Minister of Tourism, Creative Economy. We'll let you get back to work, sir. Thank you very much for that update, and see you again soon.
Thank you very much, Dalton.
All right, more Hot Indo is ahead with Eat Meter. Why can't Gado Gado be as popular as fettuccine carbonara in other countries?
And you are watching iPop Playlist.
iPop on the Indonesia Channel.
I'm Caitlin Turner, and welcome to Yoga Bliss. Dropping your hands to the mat, just step it back. Exhale, reaching down to try. Terraces, and others the black sand beaches and the Indian Ocean. I had the pleasure of village cuisine. Opposing force. Feel up through your fingertips. And all the way up and open. On your mat, bend your left knee and inhale your right arm. Bring your knees up high on your tricep. And lift one foot, then lift. Inhale, chest up, long spine.
Yoga Bliss, only on the Indonesia Channel.
You're watching Hot Indonesia from Jakarta. Here's hot topic number 3, Eat Meter. Everyone loves their own cuisine. The business challenge is to export local tastes. Italy is doing the best of it. In a survey of 24 countries by yougov.co.uk, Italian food is the most popular, with 84% liking it, followed by Chinese 78% and Japanese 71%. Indonesian food came in at 49%, below Indian and Singaporean, but ahead of Malaysian and Australian cuisine. Sandrina, is it taste or is it marketing?
I believe the biggest hurdle is marketing, because when it comes to taste and richness in variety, many Indonesian cuisines have the potential to be well accepted globally. The popularity of a dish or certain kind of food relates to the experience of people in tasting it. So it also depends on how many outlets or restaurants serve these food globally.
The survey also said that Indonesians here overwhelmingly prefer their own cuisine at 92%. Of course, that makes sense. But as we know, the number of Italian and Japanese restaurants continue to grow throughout this country. Millie, what dishes do you think could be our pasta or sushi overseas?
Well, you know, CNN has already voted that beef rendang is the #1 most delicate, delicious dish in the world. But the problem with Indonesian food, and I've spoken with many chefs here, is because there are no written standard of recipes of Indonesian food. Meaning, if I make a gado-gado, it depends on my own take on gado-gado. Yeah, maybe generally, of course, there is a recipe for gado-gado, but anyhow, it's my hands. You know, if I put this, then it's up to me. But Sandrina might have another take on gado-gado's recipe, and you, Dalton, might also have another take on recipe. And this is very difficult for the international gourmet market or foundation to be able to promote Indonesian food in the international scale.
Yeah, we're so diverse. We're so diverse.
One more thing, Dalton. We are often not agile and aggressive enough when it comes to marketing local or national products. For example, when Obama came to Indonesia and he said he likes bakso and nasi goreng, we did not use this amazing opportunity to market bakso and nasi goreng to the American and global market.
Maybe they should have. Yeah, maybe they should have called it like the Barry Bakso, you know, and have that brand.
Remember when Obama went to Vietnam and ate at this place called Hoang Lien? He ate a dish called bún cha, a type of Vietnamese noodle, and they used this as a marketing gimmick. In no time, bún cha became a popular dish in America.
Yeah, I think 2 or 3 dishes that could go international. Of course, nasi goreng, fried rice, which everyone loves. Gado-gado, which is our steamed vegetable salad with peanut sauce. And satay. I think we keep forgetting about satay, which is yakitori in Japan. Similar concept, but very tasty with our own sauces. Okay, moving on now. Feedback time. Felix posted this on the Indonesia Channel Instagram page after our discussion on Dandut being pushed for UNESCO designation. I'm waiting for Hot Indonesia to feature Roma Irama. Well, good idea, Felix. We will ask the king of Dandut to join us someday. And Kaidi posted this comment on the TIC YouTube channel. What nice topics. Keep it up. Here's how to contact us with your feedback. Email at hotindo@theindonesiachannel.com or comment through our Hot Indonesia or Indonesia Channel Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. Final word, Sandrina.
We should go dangdutan. Yeah, okay. This upcoming Sunday, the Hindu people in Bali will celebrate Nyepi, celebrating the new year in a very serene way, a way only found in this magical island. A day of silence, no activities, no lights at night, and no flights, as even the airport is closed, only in Bali. So I've been thinking about this for so long. What if the entire world population celebrate Nyepi like in Bali? Everyone stops, takes a break from all their routine activities, from all the hustle and bustle. Just stop for a day and breathe. Some sort of contemplation. And Mother Earth could also get the chance to heal, even if it's just for a single day. Untuk semua warga Hindu di Bali, selamat Hari Raya Nyepi.
Final words, Millie.
And for me, I have a celebration of my own. I'm appointed the co-host of Hot Indonesia channel this week. And it's also a contemplation for me because I would like to share my opinion every week with all of you. And I would like to thank Hot Indonesia channel for the trust. And thank you, Dalton, and also thank you, Sandrina.
Welcome to the group.
Yeah, we're very happy to have you, Billy. Now, I just want to say one more word for my final words about Nyepi, which is, a very good thing. As Sandrina said, it's a time of self-reflection, and everything shuts down in Bali mainly, but it's a national holiday here throughout the country. I think this is good. We don't do enough thinking. Instead, we mindlessly rely on our smartphones to inform and entertain us. I propose a new, even stricter holiday, and I would call it Nappy. You see, on this day, no phone use at all, just thinking and napping.
Cool.
And that is Hot Indonesia for this week. Yeah, we all love our naps. For Sandrina Malakiano and Millie Luquito, thank you very much. I'm Dalton Tanaraka. See you next time.